Hi guys, sorry it's a bit late. It's been a long while. Summer's finally here. The bug glasses are on. Potting up my peppers to go on the rain gutter grow system. Husband is still yet to plumb it in. You might hear some banging and stuff. He's currently building me a cold frame. My father-in-law, when we went down there, that's in one of the last previous videos, when we was building this somewhat carport thing that it was just ginormous. Anyway, he only wanted it to hang his washing out in the winter so it would dry. Yeah, so he had some of the plastic, I can't remember what it's called, double walled polycarbonate stuff. So yeah, he's donated a sheet of that because my husband was crap enough to cut 4 inches too short. So he ended up with a whole sheet that he didn't need because it wasn't the wrong side. So I'm in the greenhouse again. Don't know what day it is. I know it's Sunday. Don't know what date it is. I'm really forgetful today. The camera angle's really shoddy. My phone's playing up for some reason. When I click on my camera it zooms right in. So yeah, the rain gutter grow system, excuse me, the fan's on so it's blowing dust everywhere. Buckets from Morrison's, and because it sits over the rain guttering, so you'll need something to wick the water up from the rain gutter. So I use these tiny little pots. You can get these, they normally do them in like those trays and they have all these pots all in them. So I've done a hole at the bottom and these just slot right through. So that is your wick, and then this bit will sit in the rain guttering. I'll put that on my desk. I've had to cut a hole in my desk for the pot to sit through. And it is a case of just filling the pot up and then putting the peppers in. I do 2 peppers per pot. I do feed quite a lot with liquid fertiliser. So the only thing that is in this soil is a bit of perlite and a bit of bloodfish and bone, and that's it. I use an organic fertiliser for these because I do use these peppers to feed my bearded dragons and some other reptiles that I've got. So I try and pick 2 peppers that are roughly the same height. I've done 1 tub already behind me. And there's a bit short. Some of them have already started to flower. I picked 2 that are the same height, simple fact that they don't try and compete with each other right from the get-go. Oh, this one's stuck. Oh my god. There we go. Root system's pretty good, and I only potted these up 3 weeks ago? Yeah, about 3 weeks ago. So I'll sit one in there. So they do have a few buds and things that have started, there's a flower by my finger, that have started to come up on them, which is really good. Great news from the allotment. Gosh, it's been a while since I've shown you that. The potatoes are up, they're in flower. My kidney beans, they're up. I planted loads actually. I did do some early and thinking that they'd come up a bit sooner and then I'd have like 2 crops so you space them out. So they were about 3 weeks older than the seed that I put in, and they've all caught up with each other, so that was a whole waste of time and a lot of pots wasted. Never mind, it's a story of my life. So with the peppers, I've just dumped them in. I'm topping up with the soil that's around them. It's pretty damn simple, you know how to do all of this. The allotment's doing really great. The onions are just starting to bulk up now. I will do a video when I get down there and I get half a chance. At the minute I'm finding it hard to find some time to breathe. so let alone being able to get to do anything. Our allotment did get extended, so we have 2 allotments, so that's pretty good. So we ended up having we're going to have one allotment as a massive fruit cage. It's huge. So we've yet to build that. There you go. And with your peppers, I'm going to have to move this out of the way. Make sure that the little cup fits into the rain gutter. I already have water in here, and that'll wick it up. I do one watering from the top to make sure that all the soil is been saturated with water. It helps to keep wicking it up. If the soil is bone dry, which is this is, it won't wick up, it will just sit. If you noticed, if you water a really dry pot and it hasn't been watered for ages, the water will just sit on top and it will take an age to actually get down. So I do water from the top just to get that water down, and then the water will start sucking up again. It's a bit like when you buy a new sponge, I suppose. So yeah, so I've just got to do a load of those. There's the ones I have to pot up into the big pots. I'm so far behind on these peppers. They should have been miles big already, and I should have been getting fruit off them already. It's incredibly hot in here, and they're doing so good. I've just had a lot of things going on, which means I've had to pause all my gardening and just come in here and water and hope for the best. So yeah, hopefully I've got enough compost. I got 1 bag in the car, half a bag down here. Yeah, I ain't gonna have enough compost. I'm gonna have to go, but I go to work tomorrow and I can pick one up from there. Oh yes, a new thing. I am now on the allotment committee at my allotments, which was really good. Had the first meeting not so long ago. It was really good. We're having a few issues on rats. If you have any ideas of how you deal with rats in your allotments, to try and maybe give us some different avenues that we can go down and that we can use and try. I mean, I suggested maybe putting mesh underneath compost bins, but inevitably they're going to go through that anyway, aren't they? But I've not really seen any. I've seen a lot of holes, a lot of nests, but there's no babies, there's no adults. I haven't seen any. Lots of foxes around, which is pretty good. That's probably why they're not around. So yeah, let me know on the comments below what you do to deal with rats in your garden, in your allotment, wherever. I'm going to finish up these and I will show you the first little mini harvest that we got off our allotment, which is shallots, a couple of garlic, which are the best I've ever grown, and 1 turnip. I don't know what I'm going to do with just 1 turnip, but I'll sort something out. And I'll give you a bit of a garden tour. I'm going to go out in my front garden as well, because you've never actually seen that. The grapevine's doing really well in the garden, but I'll show you all of that anyway. I'll carry on and pot the rest of these. I'll show you what they look like afterwards, if I've got enough compost to do them all. And yeah, see you in a bit. I am absolutely knackered. Thought I'd give you a plot tour. A lot has changed. We've been given all this land, so we've just covered it and put some weed killer down to kill the grass and whatnot. Pretty flowers. Got all our fruit bushes down from the front end of the allotment. So those beds are practically empty. My garlic's ready now, so I need to lift those. Bought some crushes, made some crushes today. It is really hot. And this part here, which is next to the fruit cage, plan on putting some more beds in. It's quite large, so hopefully I should be able to get another, what, three 10-foot beds in, 10 foot by 4 foot. So that'll expand that quite a lot. Go over to my daughter's flower bed. She's working wonders on that. Loads more in now. Onions are doing great. They're starting to bulb up now, which is good. My marrows are now in. They went in at the weekend on Saturday, I believe. Yeah, I think it was. Got some marigolds and that around. Shallots, I've been harvesting shallots. They are really spicy. They're doing really well. And they're at really good sizes as well, so I'm really quite pleased with them. Some leftover leeks that other plot holders are coming and helping themselves to. Brassicas, they're doing really great. And that brassica cage it's massive. It's up to my shoulders. And I did that today. I didn't want to waste any of the netting, so I gave it a mohawk. It'll do, it's fine. Potatoes, yeah, they're doing really well, so I'm quite good. We got Sarpo, Mira, Desiree and Rocket on the end. I will be taking all the flowers off. I don't want any of the flowers, I don't want it to flower yet. So that should encourage more root growth, which will mean more potatoes. Swedes are doing really well, and I've got half a bed that's, well, 3/4 of a bed that's empty. I shall probably just be putting some swede and that in there. Leeks are doing really well. Please ignore the weeds. I've not been able to do any weeding today. I've got 2 butternut squash in there. Still need to weed all of that as well. I've got my kidney beans. They're doing really great. This is what I was doing for cloching to try and protect my crops. That is a lot better than this, huh? So I shall be doing that as well. But I'll probably be taking the net off this completely because there's only 1 row of swede, 1 row of beetroot, and the rest is kidney beans, which I'm going to want pollinated. My son's sweet corn, yeah, it's really not done well. This is a mix of like what we've grown at home and shop bought, and it's not doing particularly great at all, so I'm not overly impressed. So everything's doing really well. That brassica cage is ridiculously huge, but I've got Brussels sprouts down the middle, so I need height, and that's going to give plenty of height and with more room to grow. So yeah, it's a lot cheaper to make these kind of cloches as it is to make any others. My neighbour has done like that. You can tell his wife's been on there. So, but my neighbour has done that. He's done it all squares with wood. He said he's a square man, but it's just it's just costly that way. Made a little seating area, and oh yes, my husband's gone and put guttering on the roof, and it's collecting quite well. The wildlife area, well, I managed to get a pond that was donated by the chairman of the allotment, so that's pretty good. And the water butts, it is collecting water, it's doing quite well. That one is working. This one we need to hook up, so they'll sit on there and they collect water really lovely, so I'm quite impressed with them. So all in all, allotment is doing really well. Still waiting on a whole bag of wood chips to be delivered, but I have no idea when they'll be delivered. You want to see the bees? The bees have been really active today. I don't know what you can see. They've been flying over my head and chasing me everywhere. And I've been running around like a little screaming girl. So yes, previous videos I said it might have been good to have the bees there. To have them so close. There are days where we're not able to work on the allotment at all. We've had a few swarms. There's too many hives in there, so they are starting to get fairly active. They're not liking it too much. But I've closed up for the day. I've done those 2 tunnels. So hopefully that'll keep the moth off, the white cabbage butterfly thing off. So yeah, not doing too bad. Not doing too bad. getting there slowly. So I'll be going home, fixing my sign, as we now have plot numbers, and this will eventually be one large fruit cage. So everywhere you see that has black plastic down will be fruit cage. So it's probably about 5 meters by 5 meters squared. That's going to be interesting. But there's like goji berries, raspberries, pink lemonade, blueberry, cherry tree, got some black currants there, some strawberries at the back. That's my son's tub, that's what he started with. That's the dwarf raspberry. It don't get much bigger than that, which is quite handy. So I might be getting a few of them. They're a bit more costly, but I think what you gain for them not being sprawled all over the place will be quite good. And the fruit is coming along nicely on them, I think. So yeah, we're getting plenty of fruits and that on it. The blueberry, I need to cover this quickly, otherwise I'm not going to end up with any of those. It's pretty laden. One of my blueberries died, so I have bought a replacement. I think those two are my goji berries, and that one was my 20p shop buy from Morrison's. I've forgotten what it's called now. That is my goji berry, which means they're not goji berries, which means I've forgotten what they are. Okay, yeah, we'll have to sort that out. I'm sure I've got the wrapper in the greenhouse somewhere. I bought them from Morrison's as well, so I'll find them. The pink lemonade blueberry don't have many fruits on it at all. Do have lots of let's see if I can frame it up, these weird bugs. So if anybody knows what they are, give me a shout. Right, the dog walkers are coming. I'm gonna leave you be and have fun. Hi guys, finally a week later I'm doing the gardening tour. The first half of the video was done on a Monday. That was last week, so it's taken me a week. I went down to the allotment, that was the middle bit of the video, on the Tuesday. Managed to harvest a couple of turnips as well, so that'll go from my one turnip that I had. So I've got 5 now, so I could make a good meal out of that. Wanted to show you my strawberry plants as they stand right now. I have stripped them already. Got some runners that I need to put into the hanging pots to get some more strawberry plants. Harvested some garlic. They're actually really good sized bulbs. I'm quite impressed with them, so they're good. The strawberries I got off of them, I got an absolute ton. I'll show you. So all of them, and they're really good sizes. I mean, look at that for a strawberry. And my turnips that I harvested down at the allotment, so they're good. My flower bed, the mixed lobelia, ended up having some snapdragons in it, so I might harvest a seed off of that. I've never grown snapdragons before, but I really quite like them, so I might do some more. The gaps in the planters, my dog likes lettuce, and if she can find it, she'll eat it. So the lettuce is actually doing really well, and I've been harvesting it for feeding my tortoise as well. And yes, I'm actually growing a bindweed. I need to prune it. I'm going to grow it as a proper climber to feed my tortoises and dragons with. My neighbour done me a nice hanging basket, which is coming along nicely. The tomatoes are doing really well. They've come up quite huge. They're reaching just under my shoulder now, and I'm 5'5", so yeah, it's good. And the tomatoes, they're good sizes, but these are the tomatoes, that the massive ones. These ones are the super marinade ones, I think, but there's different types in there, and these ones on the end are bush ones, believe it or not. They're massive, they're up to my hip, so I don't quite know what happened to them. Got some lettuces down there for the tortoises, some leftover strawberries up there, and some leftover dwarf dahlias that are probably going to end up getting chucked away. My apple tree has got loads of apples in, so that's doing quite well. And the apples on that tree they're really sweet, they're really nice. Geraniums are doing well. Excuse the mess, I've been doing the greenhouse, getting some shading up as it's hitting 50 in there. Yeah, so it's good. The dahlias, they're in now, they're doing really well, they're growing loads. Starting to get buds on some, I might knock some back. Basically just taking the flower stem down tad for it to grow some new shoots, and it'll bush them out a bit more as well. So I think I might knock that one back, and probably that one and the one on the end. That one is a bit too late now. The pear tree has got no pears on it this year, as my husband did a hard prune on it. It didn't work, but we should end up with something next year. The peppers I did last week are doing really, really well. There's all 5 tubs up on there, and the rain gutter grow system is working. There's water in there, so it wicks it up. I've not had to water them all week. It does it itself. Got a passion flower growing there. I do need to tie it in a bit though, don't I? It seems to be wanting to go all over the place. The fig tree, the fig's doing really well. Thyme's doing really well. Magnolia, that's doing really well. My Acer died, but I don't want to sort of like take it out because this ginormous sunflower has come from the bird feeder, and yeah, we want to keep it. I want to see how big it gets. It's a volunteer sunflower. The grapevine is doing really, really well. I need to tie it in at the top. It's going to be going all across this rope, but I'm not sure how many stems I need to keep on. So up here there's 2, and over here there's 2 more. Now, do I take these off and just let the 2 grow across the rope, or I had another thought, maybe I could grow those 2 up and have them come along the shed. So if you could let me know what you think I should do with those, that would be good in the comments below. That's a rescue from a garden centre. My blossom tree is doing really well. My first attempt of doing some sort of a hanging basket. Got a painted plant over there underneath the gazebo. My camellia, it's not budded anymore, but it's starting to put loads of new leaves on. It was only potted up again last year. Yeah, I think it was last year. My fig from a cutting, it's getting really big now. I'm quite chuffed with that, and it's taking this heat. We've hit 30 degrees for 5 days straight. I'm feeling it. My lilies, they're doing really well, and I have a dead dog in the garden. She's not dead, she's asleep in the sun. Chives on all my herbs. We have been harvesting the herbs as well down there. Climbing the box so I can show you. They're good. These pots are new. They're really good because they have like a water reservoir at the bottom, so it does hold and retain water. Got my bay in there. Can't remember, Marjoram or something like that. My husband bought it. Mint on the end. My Roman tree, and this is a chocolate mint, and I suggest getting one of these. They are lovely, really, really lovely. They smell a bit like Terry's chocolate orange with a bit more mint. Hot tubs up, absolutely. So all in all, the garden's looking really, really good. The tomatoes are getting about 2-3 feeds a week now. They're getting really hungry, and they're growing massive. They're doing really, really well. Actually, I'm quite surprised, even though the bush ones on the end are not supposed to be that big. Maybe they got a bit leggy at first, and then they've just decided to bush out. I don't know, but that's ridiculous. And that's up to my waist, my hip. So you're talking, well, I don't know how long that is. These poles are 8 foot long with probably 2 foot in the ground, 1.5, 2 foot in the ground. So yeah, they're pretty big for a bush tomato. So yeah, the garden's looking lovely. That lupin's nearly over. This one's just going into flower. I was hoping that they would flower at the same time, because I like things to be equal. Yeah, no luck. But I will harvest the seed off of that and grow some more next year, even though lupins are really difficult to grow. Well, to germinate. When you get them germinating, if you can get them germinating, they fly by. So, you know, they're really good. So the garden's looking really good. So I'm going to go and sit back indoors now. I am boiling. It is really hot. I think it's going to be another really hot day today. Another 30-degree day that the weatherman said. Yesterday it hit 32. Hot tub's ready for when the kids come home anyway. So yeah, garden's looking not too bad. And sorry for swinging you about too much. It's not bad, is it? Some sweet pea there. I've got to take them down the allotment. I'm going to put them along that fence. The dog walkers are starting to get on my nerves. They're all right. There's just the odd couple that like to stop and stand and chat for ages when you're trying to get stuff done. The greenhouse, I've actually put fleece up on the roof, fleece up on the window, and I do need to fleece the door as well for when the sun comes round. It will hit this side as well, so I need to put the fleece up on the door just to block out some of the sun. It gets so hot in there, it's unbelievable. The temperature registered in the greenhouse yesterday at 50 degrees. Let's go see what the weather is saying now. 35. That's in the shade. No, that's in the greenhouse. 35 in the greenhouse, 26 outside. That's not too bad actually. That's the outside temperature sensor is in the shade. The greenhouse one is just in the corner, just there. You can just about see it just there. So yeah, the greenhouse is going to get hot today, and I do have a fan going on in there as well. So what I might have to do is start pulling all my peppers out and having them outdoors so they can cool down, maybe like in the shade of the gazebo once the sun reaches around. But it's a bit difficult because they have all those little cups coming out the bottom of it, so you can't just put them down. I have to sit them on bricks or something. That's the only problem with that. But saying that, I could put a window or something in the other side of the greenhouse. Maybe that will help. Put in like a through wind, help cool it down. I'm thinking of doubling up on the fleece as well to block a bit more of that sun out, because it is just getting stupid hot in there. The door's always left open now. I don't close it anymore. But if it gets too hot, I could end up losing some of the fruit, some of the flowers. I may even lose plants. So yeah, all in all, garden's looking great, and she's loving it. See you later, guys.